welcome back to another episode of Race2Green. Something that we've come up with as we wait for the racing season to go green again. Something to entertain you guys as we're all locked in quarantine. And of course, we're doing it around the AllStar Esports Battle, which is coming up again very soon on this channel. So check the description down below. Today, I'm joined with another legendary driver. In fact, one that is probably more famous than some of the others we talked to. I know they're pretty high profile, but we've got the man who lives in a pineapple under a shed in the garden, whatever it is. Jimmy Broadbent, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I like that. I'm going to start using that as an intro. That's good.
It's the perfect spot. Maybe start there. You've done so much sim racing. I'm just looking over at your image right now, but you've got all your Hiskenveld on the back. You've got tons of racing stuff. That must be like the most conducive place to racing ever. And then you've got this cool little whiteboard on your left side. Talk me through the whole shed thing.
Okay, well, basically, it was a solution to somewhere to live ages ago, and it's kind of just been where I've operated from since. So basically, one half is a bed, one half is a sim rig. Proper single man living, except not single, and the girlfriend doesn't like it too much, so just don't worry about it.
The girlfriend probably doesn't. It's like there's that saying like, the girl's dream house is like, 2 kitchens and a bunch of bedrooms, lovely living room. And the guy's like, I just want a bed and a garage for my cars. You kind of have that because your sim rig, you probably got every car and every sim that's ever been played.
Yeah, I got my fake garage here. It's not quite as good as the real thing, but always fun to come down and just drive here for hours and I get bored,
Yeah, well, you probably have done more sims than anyone I could talk to. When did you start? And what was the first couple of games that got you hooked?
Oh man, the first racing games that I got into, the first one I played big time was Formula 1 97 on the PlayStation 1. I used to sit there as like a 6-year-old kid and do 100% distance races, and that was my idea of fun. I think I was a weird kid. And then just growing up, pretty much any Codemasters game that came out, all the Soccer Touring car games, kept going all the way through. And eventually, the transition to proper sim racing kind of happened in 2012 when I was playing GT5 and thought, you know what, it's Gran Turismo 5. I want to play something a bit more in depth where people don't bump each other off the road as much. And then I got into sim racing about then and haven't looked back.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've made an incredible brand for yourself. I think you have to be the most famous sim racer on the planet. Everyone knows you. Everyone loves you, adores you. You're an incredibly contagious personality. I say contagious, maybe that's the wrong word in today's times, but yeah, in a good way. Because, you're super entertaining. Look, things have gone crazy for you lately, but as you've seen this progress, one of the things that I noticed with you is people get more and more serious, but you stayed very much yourself. And how do you manage to do that and stay so entertaining while driving? I can't talk more than 3 words when I'm on the sim. I'm focused like crazy.
I think I'm just the loudest. I think that's what it is. Nothing to do with skill or anything like that. I just shout the most. But I think the big thing for us is just to have fun with it. The difference between us and the big pros is we don't get paid. We do it for fun. So if stuff does go wrong and you find yourself maybe 2 laps down in a race, you go, well, I can still complete it. I can still finish. I might as well just do it and have a bit of fun with it. And that's the main thing. It's a hobby at the end of the day. Take it too seriously and it's not going to be fun. So
yep.
No point doing that.
Did you ever think it would get to this point though, where you said the other day your most famous video is the F3 with Verstappen and Norris and all those guys, and now you're racing on a daily basis. You and Antonio Felix da Costa have almost become glued together at times on tracks. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty ludicrous when you think about it, because you just think where you started from and how inaccessible these guys were to you in any sort of world, a couple of years back. That's why sim racing is great. It melds those things together. And then when you're on the circuit, it doesn't really matter who these guys are, what their backgrounds are. All that matters is that one race. So they still beat me, but, but I'm in the same race, which is fun. That's the best bit.
You kind of bring a different perspective to it, because a lot of what we're doing with the esports aspect is showing off the sincerity of sim racing, which is undoubtable at this point in time, and that real drivers, it can be a tool, but you see it as entertainment. How do you see sim racing going, and is there more avenues than just the competitive side?
I think so. Sim racing for me, and we've been saying this, me and my friends, for a couple of years now, is I think it will rival something like karting in a few years' time. I don't think karting will ever go away. I think that's always going to be a very valuable thing for people going into motorsport, but so is sim driving. Max Verstappen and Lando Norris are really good examples of that, because they're people who basically spend all their time in the sim when they're at home and then go out and do really well in the F1 races when they are on, So yeah. There's obviously a great link there. And I think that it's a great training tool. It's like David Perel said it really well, a GT driver. It's like having a treadmill. It gets you in shape and gets you out to go do it in the real life.
And now let's talk about the real thing, because you say you did this for fun. It's all great. Look, I've noticed a few YouTube videos that aren't virtual anymore, Jimmy. You seem to be in a few more cars. You've got Jan Madenborough, actually, his old R32.
Yeah.
You've got the MX-5 now, which you've got on track. I like to say Miata over here. People make fun of me for it, but that's what we call them in North America. And now you're with Renee Butler, and you're going to be doing some VLN. I mean, that's as cool as it gets. That's got to be the coolest series in the world.
I mean, I hate to sound so cliche, but it's a lifelong dream for me to be able to do that. I think that racing is still one of those sports, or when I was growing up anyway, that it requires significant financial investment, and that just wasn't there, and that isn't there for a lot of people. So I think it's really nice to show that it can happen. You can go from driving a simulator to driving in real life. I guess I've gone through more as an entertainer than a driver, but the whole great thing is I get to now take part in that. It's terrible timing because of course now it's all been postponed, but I'm hoping that when it does come back on, I can go out there and really just enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that I get to be in a real car driving at the circuit, which I think is the best in the world, the Nordschleife, and just getting to have that experience of being a real life driver. This definitely prepared me.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, because again, we see GT Academy, World's Fastest Gamer, lots of those guys. They're looking for the fastest and the most, the guy that's going to go to pro. You've taken that other stance, and you're going into. That's why I say VLN for me is the coolest series in the world. You've got Earl Bamber out there at times running around in a GT3 car who's won 24-hour Le Mans, and you've got Jimmy Broadbent who came from YouTube running around in what's going to be an Opel, if I'm not mistaken, the Cup car. That series is literally grassroots to pro on one track. I think it's super cool. I can't wait for the content you're going to produce.
Yeah, exactly. Me either, man. My head's already boggled about how I'm going to do it, but that's why it's great for me because I'm under no illusions. I'm not a pro driver. I'm not as quick as those guys. But the fact that I can be in that race and still be a part of it is what makes it so alluring to me. Especially with there being the predecessor to that, the RCM, which is kind of like the go out and train, get your permit sort of thing before you can go and race. I really enjoy that, and yeah, hopefully I can do people proud in the old Opel. It's going to be interesting. Front-wheel drive touring car with an H pattern, 300 plus horsepower. It's going to be great.
You're right about that track. That thing's an absolute joy. You could drive any car there. You could drive a van, which I've seen people do on tourist days, and I'm sure you'd still have the biggest smile on your face. So to race, it's going to be pretty cool. Talk to me a little bit more about this esports battle this weekend, though. I watched last week, Jimmy. 5th in the first heat. That wasn't too bad.
That was I didn't expect that. I mean, there was a reaction of me crossing the line and me just lifting a very sweaty arm, bit and going a bit crazy about it because you don't expect to be anywhere near that sort of pace in that company. But it was so much fun to get involved and do that. I'm going to do the whole excuse thing and say that I kind of messed up my timing and I didn't get any practice in before the race. So all my practice thing, kind of the 10 minutes then qualifying, but again, it was really fun. I was racing against Acosta, and he was very clean. And you see sometimes these pro drivers that come in, and they don't take it too seriously, which is fair, of course. For them, this is kind of turning up and having a bit of fun. But I think now we had our race director earlier in the team and driver briefing being like, "Come on, guys, take it seriously, have fun with it. You're putting on a show here." And again, the fact that I can race these guys and go toe to toe with them is brilliant fun. And again, a testament to sim racing, I think.
Yeah, that's super, super cool. And a lot of these guys are coming over. I talked to Felix Rosenquist yesterday, and he's an exception because he's very quick. But a lot of these guys haven't actually done a lot of it. So it's kind of interesting to see where they fall and how there's different skills involved. For you, you're not just doing this race. You just came out of another one or were part of another one a minute ago. You've done the R Factor. You've done iRacing. How do you stay quick in all the different sims? I find it's hard to go from one to the other, and I get time to do them. You seem to jump in and just be on it straight away.
I think the simple answer is I'm not quick in all of them. but I know I think it's I've driven them all so much, and you do a couple of laps and go, right, I'm in this game now, and then your brain sort of switches a bit, and that F1 is especially an F1 car and a new sim is something that just requires a bit more finesse, and then you're driving Dirt Rally, which is a game where you just basically yeet it at any sort of scenery and trying to hit it. And I don't know, I think just having done it so much, you get used to it a bit. But, I've seen other people struggle a bit. I mean, I was watching Steve Super GT in practice earlier, and he was saying, how you going second and a half faster? I don't understand. And he's used to playing Gran Turismo. So it takes a while to adjust between them all, but I think it's definitely possible.
Do you? I mean, you've used probably as much sim gear as anyone. That shed's probably seen more sim technology than the McLaren Technology Center at times.
It's held up by the rig right now.
Yeah. But do you think, do you switch rims for different games to help switch your muscle memory? Like, is that a thing, or do you just have one that you go to all the time?
I do it just because I like to have the immersion of it. I'm not quite intelligent enough to think, oh yeah, muscle memory will stop with that. So I put the F1 rim on for F1 stuff. I kind of use this rim here as like a basic free for all room. It's really I can actually show you. I can take a look.
Yeah, please.
There you go. So it's just kind of a Momo rim with a button box in the back, quite dusty. It's got some clutches on the back as well, and it's got these paddles, and I can use it for pretty much anything. I use it for rally sometimes. So this is a nice all-round rim, but there are ones that are more specialized. It's just for immersion more than anything else,
Yeah, and obviously you get to use all this gear, which is very cool. And like you say, the immersion, and I agree with you. Driving a sequential box and the D-shaped rim and then a butterfly formula style. That's a luxury in some ways. For someone who's maybe new and watching sim, and during this hiatus that we're in from real racing, suddenly goes, wow, I want to try this. Does it matter to get in that is it that much that important, I guess, or that much in terms of performance, or should they just grab something and get started?
Well, I mean, I got all this stuff here and I'm still bad, so it's not
You're
really
so hard on yourself.
I think it's all these pro drivers they've been battering me this week. It's been difficult, but my favorite story I like to tell is that a very good friend of mine, he raced in the Le Mans series with me, and we used to race a long time ago in R Factor. And we'd race toe to toe. I'd have I think a T500, and he'd have a wheel that we dubbed the Plastic Fantastic, which was basically a plastic wheel with 180 degrees of rotation, no force feedback, and a 360 controller sellotaped to the front of it so we could have more buttons. And he was still faster than me. So
wow,
if you can go out there, it's just about finding the talent, really finding where your skill is, and you can do that on any wheel. Of course, like a nice wheel and nice pedals will make a difference, I think, in terms of consistency. But if the skill ain't there's no point buying all the equipment because it's not going to make you that much faster.
Yeah, just get started as well. I mean, because some of the entry level stuff, I'm sure your kit is into four figures, but there's some stuff that's $200, $300.
Yeah, definitely. You can get second hand wheels for $100 to $150 and go racing and be competitive. So
yeah, super cool, very very cool. What's the plan this weekend?
Go out there and have fun. Just show everyone that this world of sim racing is very welcoming, and we're always looking to welcome more people into it and have fun with it because it's just growing now. I mean, of course, this kind of ongoing situation in the world is really unfortunate, and it's horrible that we can't be out there doing it in real life. But it has been an opportunity for people to come together and say, look, we can still go racing, and this is why these competitions are so important, I think.
Well, I think you're a perfect ambassador for it. I think, like I say, you've got a very charismatic personality, and I wish you luck. I'm dead serious about the VLN content. I'm going to be looking forward to that. So hopefully you get to go racing soon. Hopefully everyone gets to go racing soon. But this is a perfect alternative. Again, the AllStar Esports Battle. Check out the link down below. Jim, good luck, man.
Thank you, buddy. I'm going to need it.